Hello folks, welcome to the Whiskered Woodcarver. I'm Jeff C., a visual marketing and live video consultant, and this is the show where I carve for 30 minutes and talk with my friends. So, yeah, we're going a little bit later tonight. We had some power outages here down south with all the storms coming through, so I had to get the supper on the table and actually had to start this a little bit later than usual, but we'll see what happens. We are finishing up some projects before we have a painting day, because I don't like to pull out the paints just for one little piece. So we're trying to get some stuff I had in my little carving bag that I needed to finish up. And so we are going to do that. So we'll just jump into the carving camera. As always, we carve for 30 minutes. We talk about a specific topic. And today's topic is, how do you recharge? With these days running together so much, I'm really interested in seeing how people, what do they do to stay on schedule, to recharge, just so, you know, our routines are messed up, but what are you guys doing out there to recharge? So let me know in the comments below, and we'll get to carving. So I'm going to jump right here to the carving cam, and we will get started. As always, we start out the day putting on our safety apparatus. I always stick my leather thumb guard in the glove so I don't lose it, and then my cut-proof glove I put on. So we'll just go ahead and get started here. Get it on nice and snug, and yeah. So gotta sharpen the knives. I think I'm gonna start with my favorite one. We need a little bit more sharpening compound there on the old leather strop. So we'll just do that really quickly. Hello, Emily. So she says her thing she does to recharge is a puzzle. So Emily, do you do that every night, or do you like save it for the weekend? Because that's what I'm noticing is, like, the weekends are like, was it Saturday? What day is it? I saw a newscaster the other day. All he does is, start of his weather report, he goes, "It's Thursday," and he tells the day of the week, which I thought was kind of funny. So how do you do it, Emily? Do you save it for every night, or do you do it on special on the weekends? So here, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm actually just sharpening it. That black stuff you see coming off onto the leather is actually little bits of metal. That's how it gets it sharp. Just like that, see? All right, so what we're working on is one of these little ornaments that I make out of just a little, you know, a piece of 1x1 basswood that I cut on the diagonal and carve this little ornament. So we got started yesterday. We're gonna, well, what is today? No, I got started on Saturday, so we'll start on this one, and you can see I just kind of sketched out really roughly. This is one of those ones like the penguin that I do, that I don't have to use a pattern for. I can just go ahead and just get started. So Emily says, jigsaw puzzles always on the table and easy to pick up and jump in for 5 to 10 minutes. That's pretty cool. I love they take up a lot of space if you don't have a lot of it, but we do them like when we go camping, or I think that was the last time we did a big jigsaw puzzle. Well, they're fun, but I could only do it for about 5 to 10 minutes, Emily, because otherwise I get angry. So I already cut this a little bit off this hat here, so I'm gonna try to cut some more out. There we go. So I need to take some wood down here around the hat. And I already see a problem. It's split a little bit. So Emily says I usually have one on my dining room table. So are you like a master? Do you like, Emily, do you have, you know, like, do you have like certain levels? Aren't they rated like how many pieces? How do they rate them? Is there like a master's level and like I need like the beginner where there's like 3 pieces. So Emily says, I have a whole system, a pattern, if you will, a kind of like what you do with your carvings. Each one has a form and pattern. Gotcha. Is there a certain type? You know, I know there's like flowers and buildings, or does it matter? Do you just kind of like, you know, whatever catches your eye in the store, or do you have like a certain ones you like to do? And I think my mom used to actually, like, spray something on them and then put them in a frame. I don't know. Is that still a thing? So Emily says they are range in size 100 to 2,000 or more pieces. Yeah, I'd want the 100. Oh, 2,000. Golly. She says I used to choose Americana paintings. Those were cool. You have branched out. Mod Podge. Very cool. So I'm gonna probably do a little different work here and do a little different than this guy's beard. I want to. Everyone's different. But there are these crazy puzzles, all in black, or a clear puzzle that I have seen. Okay, all in all black. Gosh, that would be hard. Just need to flatten this top part of his beard a little bit. Allie shared the all black one with you. Wow. That's some serious puzzle in there. So do you have a time that you're trying to hit, Emily, or do you have to guess? Gosh, I would be so frustrated with something like that. And now I would get it done and there'd be a piece missing. That's my luck. So what would happen, So I'm just carving off, trying to round up the nose a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I couldn't handle that all black puzzle. I think it would be interesting, Emily. I think I think people are finding these kind of, different lives instead of all business lives or something like that I think people find them a little relaxing. I've learned so much from just talking with people on these lives, Emily. It's been amazing. Things I never would have known after 4 or 5 years just hanging out online. So it started as an experiment, but I thought this is really cool, all the stuff I'm learning. Yeah, Bonnie, I'm live almost every day. Except for Sundays. I'm almost like you. Bonnie, you're live almost every day too, I think. So this is, it's music that I found because I like bluegrass music. I think it's from audio blocks because I wanted to be able to play some music and not have any copyright strikes or anything against me, so I found this, and this is one of the only ones that had good folk bluegrass music that I could have. So Emily goes, do I have patterns for these carvings? For this one I just saw on Pinterest or on a magazine somewhere, and I did this in the penguin so much, but for the bear, and I have a Santa bear that I do, I do have a carving, and so this is probably the one we're going to do next. Is a pattern for one of these that I'll do next. Is I put it and I cut it out with a bandsaw, and then I cut the other way with a bandsaw, and I start with this would be the pattern that I cut out on a bandsaw for this Santa here that I did. So I saw this one in a magazine, and it did have a pattern, so I copied it, put it in Photoshop, and shrunk it to the way I wanted it, and then I cut that out on a bandsaw. So that's how some of the bigger pieces I do. So Jocelyn says, good to see you, Jeff, and nice tunes you got there. Thank you. Hopefully they're not too loud. It's hard sometimes to guess the volume. So that's a good idea. Emily goes, maybe you should sell a kit and we could carve along. That would be fun. I don't want to take responsibility for people getting cut. But a lot of the big carvers, I have a Santa that I really want to do, and because I really like this guy's style, and I bought the finished piece, but he also sold the blanks for it. And so after I get practicing a while again, I'm gonna pull that one out and do it. But it's really, really good. So Bonnie says she goes live every day. Jocelyn says, I've been bike riding every day to recharge. That's cool. So where do you like do it out in the country, or do you like do it in the city? Where's your favorite place to ride your bike? So Bonnie asks, does this glove help me grip? It's actually a cut-proof glove, Bonnie, because I sliced my hand open because I had the wrong type of glove. I had a canvas one. I had like 9 stitches. I couldn't carve for a while, so now I always wear a cut-proof glove. And then I have this leather guard on my hand for when I go cut backwards like this. In case it hits somewhere there, it protects my thumb. So that's why I wear a glove now. I've always worn a glove, I just wore the wrong type of glove. Yeah, and it was on this one actually that I cut it on. You can see right here, the hat was supposed to come around as more of a lip, and that just went whoosh, and it went right in my hand. No bueno, not good. So that wasn't fun. That stopped my carving for quite a while. I am a lefty. Emily goes, she's like, wait, are you a lefty? Yep. Lefties have rights too. So one of the reasons I'm doing this before I have that snowman we did to paint is because I don't like to pull out my paints in fact, painting is kind of the least fun thing for me. It's part of the process, but a lot of like the professional carvers they'll carve and they'll have somebody else paint. So Jocelyn said, this afternoon I rode through the city park in NOLA, but it's pretty packed. Most days it's just around the neighborhood. Yeah, I don't like packed stuff when I bike ride. Yeah, I can't believe goes just catching that now. Yeah, been a lefty all my life. So we got about 18 minutes left. People always ask what the timer is for. One, it's to keep me, accountable, and I want to show you guys how much you can get done in just 30 minutes. And also, it's just like if people are scrolling by, they don't think it's going to be an all-day thing. Sitting here watching me carve. So Jocelyn asks, how are you doing this with the circle imposed for your beard? Yes, it's the beard circle, the circle of beard. It is actually eCam, and it lets you do what's called a PIP, or a picture-in-picture. And that's how I'm using my Logitech to go as the second camera. The second camera is actually the knife and carving, and then my main camera is the picture-in-picture, which is my Canon M50. Somebody asked me today to do a course on how I set this up, so that may be coming. It'll be pretty easy to put together, but I think a lot of artists right now want to do something like this. So I may have to do that. And I always thought it would be so hard to set up, but eCam makes it so easy. I don't know why I didn't do it earlier. The beard circle. I like that, Jocelyn. Thank you. If you have a Mac, going live with eCam is the way to go. Really like it. I've used pretty much all the streaming softwares, and I still do for different things, but for this one, going live really quickly with this makes it super easy. We're getting there. I'm going to use my V tool to kind of carve around some of this, knock something off. This part of the hat here, or the kind of where it folds down. I'm just going to do this so I have somewhere to go with my knife. And around the little circle of the hat. Just like that. The wood's real thin right there. Yep, Bonnie, I use both eCam and StreamYard. I really like to use StreamYard for guests if I'm not using vMix. I know Ecamm is working on doing something for their to bring on guests, because right now they use Skype, and I do not like Skype. It's too much. It's too much an issue to get people on, and it's too much of a hog for your computer resources. So, but we've actually been using StreamYard for the Friday show for Social Media Examiner. So it's been working really well. So right there, I just made a little slit to make that little hat where the hat comes down right there. So there we go. Bonnie goes, I like SY for guests too. Skype is a VC. Okay, I'm deciphering your texting there, Bonnie, because I think you're on your phone. She goes, Skype is a VC CPU hog. Yeah. Type like my dad. He does. It's funny what some of the texts I get from him. But I know what you mean. There we go. Getting there. They do make cut-proof gloves that have a rubberized grip on it, but I don't. These give me a little more feel. Now I'll go through them faster. Like this little, they do wear out. So even with it being cut through, there's you get holes in the thumbs and stuff, and it's time to replace them. So Bonnie, what do you do to recharge? We're talking about kind of the topic is recharging. With all these days running together like it is, what do you do to recharge? So what types of wood do I use? This is basswood. I usually most always carve with basswood. I just like it. A lot of carvers do. And I got a big old box of it in different sizes when I really started getting serious about carving. You can get it at Hobby Lobby and stuff like this, but they mark it up quite a bit. So I get it from a place called Northern Wildwoods that sells it. And I got like this really cool like mixed bag that's just kind of random sizes. But then I bought a lot of 1x1s, which are, I don't have any right here, but it's the size that I make the penguins out of. Because some people just love these little things, and I give them away for Christmas. And Kim Garst actually bought out I think I had 12 or something of them, and she bought them all one year. So Bonnie says to recharge, she goes live. It honestly energizes her, or she sits outside and gets vitamin D. I found that these little carving things do kind of energize you, so I get it, Bonnie, going live. It's fun to talk to people. So Jacqueline says, my studio's in my house, so my workflow hasn't been too badly interrupted. I should definitely do a few lives from my Copperhead Studios page working on copper. I remember you, Jacqueline. Yes, that's true. Very cool. I remember you did some really cool copper stuff. Yeah, that would be fun to watch live. I would like to watch that. I kind of got hooked on carving when we would go, when I was a kid, to Silverado City in Missouri, and they had this whole building that it was wood carvings, but they also had glass blowers. That's a little harder to do at home. But I've always been fascinated by the glass blowers that they used to have there, and I would love, I would watch that live. But that's one of those things I don't know even how I would go to learn that. But they actually had a reality TV show somewhere. Was it Netflix about glass blowers? Anyway, that stuff fascinates me. So, about 11 minutes left. Just kind of trying to get some of this stuff off around his nose and round that up a little bit. These little pieces are you gotta be real careful not to take off too much. Yeah, cypress. I would love to, Jocelyn, to carved some cypress. Dad's got some cypress knots that he had been sitting out there, and I just never have gotten around to messing with it. But that, and I've always wanted to do those. Is it willow bark? What is it? It's what they do the fairy houses out of. Is it cottonwood bark? I think that's what it is. I've always wanted to do some of those like fairy houses that look like something out of Middle Earth, you know, Tolkien and Lord of the Rings. I just think those are really cool. So someday, what I really need to do is get some like wood carving tool company to sponsor this so I could get free tools. That would be, if you're listening, FlexCut, yeah, that would be awesome. So how often do you do your copper stuff? Do you still do it like every day with your studio? Very cool. Okay, getting there. Still need to take some wood down. I'm going to get my little knife out. A little more room. Go ahead and sharpen this bad boy up. So Emily asked, Bonnie goes, there's some glassblowing studio with classes in St. Louis. It's very cool. I'm sure it's hot and miserable and not as fun as it looks, but I still would love to do it one time. Emily goes, have you ever heard of the Pageant of the Masters in Laguna Beach? No, I have not. Now it's sad because I don't know when we're going to be able to travel. There's a big artist colony and they have the Sawdust Festival with artisans and one is a glassblower. Yeah, that would be cool. I think glassblowers are awesome. I mean, to me, that's like the old school, like you have to be an apprentice and they teach, I mean, you have to go and spend so many hours and, you know, it's almost like being a blacksmith or something. So have I seen the artist in Atlanta who does tiny doors around the city? No. If you have the link to that, Jocelyn, just put that in the comments. I'd love to go check that out. He has daily shows where he just blows glass all day. It's a crowd pleaser. It's just so cool to watch. Yeah, I love that. I mean, at Silver City, they have guys who sit there and make knives in the big old blacksmith bellows, and I mean, I just think that stuff's cool. That old, you know, they have people who make soap right there, like they used to do. Some of that stuff. I mean, I just hope I hope there's always people who don't let that stuff fade away. I just think that stuff is very, very cool. And even being a coppersmith, I mean, I'd love to see some of that, Jocelyn. About 7 minutes left. Candles, they do have a candle. I had a candle making kit when I was a kid, and we used to make that, and we would sin it, and I remember one we made, you would use like a bread bag, and you would pour the wax in there, and it makes like this craggly mountain thing, and it had like 3 wicks in it. I think that was our like crowning achievement, if my mom remembers that, but yeah, that was fun. And at Silver City, they have candle makers, and that's one of my favorite memories growing up as a kid is we would go and you would buy these candles on a string, and they'd have all these vats of wax around different colors, and you would go and you'd coat it, and you would do different layers and have different colors, and that was always fun. So I need to take some more off around his mustache. So these are the fun ones where it's just like a little ornament, and you know, you've done so many before, it's just kind of relaxing. You're not worried about looking at a pattern. You're just kind of, you know, decompressing. And before I went live, this is what I did to get away from screens. Now it's fun because I can still do what I like, but I can, you know, talk with people around the world. So Jocelyn says, it's been my full-time gig for about the last 2 years. So yes, every day, sometimes every day, and every night too. Do you sell those? Will you put your link to your studio, your page that you sell that on, in here, Jocelyn? Because I haven't looked at it in a while. I remember you shared it with me, but I'd love to see that and share, where you sell that stuff. I'd love to share that with other people. So that beard's looking pretty good. Getting there. Take some more down right here. Oh, you like the timer? Yeah, so that's an eCam thing too, Jacqueline, that I just thought it would be a way that people didn't think like this guy's going to be carving all day. And also to show you how much I can get done. Just 30 minutes every day. Because I think everybody's creative. And I think if people would, maybe start creating a little more content instead of consuming so much. I'm not saying that in a bad way. I mean, because I consume content too, but maybe not as much, or make one piece a little less, that they could create some awesome stuff just doing something 30 minutes a day that they've always wanted to do. Like I remember when I was thinking about carving, I'm like, man, what am I waiting for? It's not that expensive. It's something I've wanted to do. Why am I putting it off? So I like other people to do that too. Something they've always wanted to do. And if it doesn't work, they don't like it, there's nothing wrong with that. Try something else. But I think God made everybody creative in whatever way they're leaning towards. There we go. I think everybody's an artist somehow. And I don't think I'm a very good carver, but I enjoy it. I mean, there's always going to be somebody who's better than you, but that means doesn't mean you shouldn't try and get joy out of it. See, I knew that was going to split off. There we go. Notch that out a little more. Thanks for following One Shot Slayer 16 over on Mixer. So Jocelyn says her computer seems to be freezing up. I shook things this last year, bought a laser and launched a line of sustainable Mardi Gras throws. It's been amazing, but it's also pushed my copper work to the back burner. The life pause has been a welcome chance to spend some time working on copper. Very cool. So Emily asked, do you post these live streams on YouTube channel for on-demand viewing? We need an art flicks for shows like this. Yeah. So I'm posting it everywhere. It's kind of an experiment, Emily. I started a Whiskered Woodcarver channel, but they're always here on Facebook. I actually streamed Saturday doing this as a Facebook Live as well. I mean, as a Instagram Live. So that was fun to try. But, yeah. I just like talking and seeing who's here. Went a little later than I usually do, but it's always fun. See, he's coming together. It takes them in and have some stuff sticking out, gives it a little more depth. And especially when I put the, probably next time, since we only have 2 minutes left, put some of the, start doing some of the detailing around the beard. Still need to round some of this up a little bit. But I may even take his smile up a little bit more, just to see what it looks like. Yeah. You don't want to make him look creepy, but because creepy Santa is not good. There we go. Around there, about a minute. Nose want it to stick out a little bit more. Usually when I'm sitting around a campfire or something, I can knock these out pretty easily. But I get distracted talking to all y'all. Thanks, Bonnie. She goes, I'm so glad you started doing this a lot. Great experiment. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm learning so much about my friends doing this, just chatting. People seem to think it's a little bit relaxing, so it makes me feel good. It's a good thing for me, making me be accountable to get better at my carving every day. So Jacqueline says, I've been watching lots of YouTube since this whole thing started. Yeah, I think a lot of people are, and I would love to see you do your stuff online. So really think about that. I mean, it might be a little hard to set up, your station or whatever, but I think that would be really interesting to watch. I think it'd be really good on Instagram. So 4 seconds left. We're getting there. Still got to do a little bit more detailed stuff on the hat and just kind of playing around. I'll probably, do a little crooked smile a little bit more, but every snowman is different. But we're getting there. We're getting there. So maybe do a sizzle reel. Yeah, I should probably do something like that, Emily. So as always, we end our time together as we sharpen our knives, keep them sharp before we put our tools away. You guys have been awesome. Yeah, I think I'll do like a super cut, Emily. She goes, a time lapse from wood peg to finished product. That would be fun. Well, thanks, Emily. She goes, love these carver chats, Jeff. Well, thank you for showing up today. It's kind of nice going a little bit later and getting the California crowd as they wrap up their day. So see you later, Emily. And as always, I want you guys to remember 4 things for me. Number 1, remember we are apart, but we're not alone. Number 2, wash your hands. Number 3, hug them if you can. Hug those people around you if you're able to, that are in your house. And number 4, be praying for the doctors and nurses on the front line. And with that, I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks, Jacqueline. She goes, this is way better video setup than I've done. Well, it's not that hard. You can do it too. I have full faith in you. And text me if you have any questions. I can definitely help you set up Ecamm. And she also says, this was delightful. Thank you so much. And Emily, I will see you soon as well. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.